welcome back to episode 6. Oh my goodness, of the stories we couldn't post. Wow, episode 6.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
We never introduce ourselves, is what I just thought. Like, we never say our names.
Yeah, that's true. Well,
Yeah.
I'm Hayley, by the way.
I'm Emily, by the way, if you didn't know.
If you didn't know us.
I'm excited for this episode because
Same.
we really have been thinking a lot about, like, the stage we're at in life.
Yes.
And, like, the age we are. And not that it really is defining, but we've grown a lot.
Yeah.
I feel like even since from when we first met
100%.
to now. And I think there's such a difference in being in your early 20s to late 20s.
Yeah, 100. It's so different. Like, I feel like
Yeah.
there's so many different life lessons you learn. I think it's like a really peak time in your life, generally speaking. Like, it's when you start your career, you might meet like the person you want to be with, you might start a business, like you start earning money, you maybe move away from home, you maybe move back home. Like, there's so many things that are changing in your 20s and it can feel very chaotic.
I feel like
Oh my goodness.
keeps going on.
Siri, this is not for you.
I feel like the pressure that I felt in like my early 20s to really like get going with things in a way is worse than like now.
Okay.
I don't know. I feel like now I feel a bit more relaxed about certain things that I don't know. I don't know why that is, because I feel like even in my like early to mid 20s, especially when it comes to like relationships and stuff,
Yeah.
I was a bit more focused on like, are they the one? You know, it felt a bit more like you were kind of overthinking that a lot more. Whereas now I feel like way more relaxed about that sort of thing.
Nice.
Um,
That's good, I think.
yeah.
You've probably got more mental clarity on who you are and what you want. Like, because you've gone through so many probably lessons with that now it's easier for you to be like, okay, well, I know what I like, I know what I don't like, and so I'm not worried as much. But I also think in your early 20s you're so emotional.
But does that ever leave? Like, honestly.
I remember being, this is something I speak about all the time, is that I just remember being so emotional teens into like, I'd say up until I was about 24. Like, I really felt things so deeply. When I fell in love like really hard, like soul crushing, like hard. And then, you know, if I failed at something, it would like break my world. I hated it. I hated failing. I still struggle with that sometimes, but like it really like took me down. And I think that's what makes your early 20s really tough. Well, for me, that's what made it tough, was that I felt everything very, very deeply. I cared so much about what people thought. Whereas now, I think I'm on the same page as you. I'm a lot more at peace with that.
Yeah. I feel like I have more clarity. For example, like business and like who I want around me. But I think you also get to a point where you think everything that I thought that I wanted, you really analyse, is that actually what I want, or is it what I was like not told, but what you just assume you're going to have and go on to have. I feel like you really, I don't know what I'm saying.
I think you have so much time when you're in your early 20s that like, and you don't need to have it all figured out, but I think when you're 21 you kind of are like, well, I have 10 years like to meet the love of my life, and I have what, say what you want to say.
No, and then you're 28 and you're like, oh shit,
he's still not here. But that's okay though, because
no, but I feel so at peace with that. If I was like 25 and I was like in the same position as I am in now in terms of like relationships and whatever, I'd be like, oh my god, my god,
oh no,
what am I gonna do? Whereas now I'm like, it is what it is, but like not in a way of like you're giving up. You're just like, you've loved and you lost, and I think that's the key to life. You experience things and it just makes you more wise for the next thing that comes along. And it's not like once you have like heartbreaks under your belt, whereas I feel like in your early 20s you haven't really maybe you've had one, but once you've had like a few, you're just sort of like, oh yeah, love comes, love goes. Like, it's fine. Same with like careers, you know? Like, I didn't have any examples in my early 20s of like me succeeding in anything. Whereas like you get your first job and then you get your second job and you're like, oh no, I can actually get what I want.
Yeah.
You know? And it's more, your confidence grows because you prove to yourself, I can do the things that I want to do.
Mm-hmm.
So.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
I totally agree with that. I think the more you put yourself out there, it's almost like feedback. I find that like if you put yourself out there, whether it's positive or negative feedback, it grows you in a way that it really builds like a really solid foundation for what you want. I don't know if that sounds loopy, but
no, I think it's completely true. And I think you should always welcome feedback.
Yeah.
Like, even for me, even now, like, I will ask people like, what do you think I should do? And it's not, listen, I am very self-assured. I'm very confident. I know what I want, but I also know there are gaps that I'm a bit delusional, or like I think a certain way, and I want people to tell me, oh, from an outsider's perspective, actually, I think you should go down this career route, or I think you should be with this sort of person. I'm open to like the feedback, and I think that's what's important.
It is. That's I think a really good skill or like quality to have, because I am terrible at constructive criticism.
Really?
I'm so bad at it. Like, I know I need it, but I really, and this is something I've struggled with my entire life, I really struggle with people almost like giving feedback. If it's not what I want to hear, just know I'm sitting there with a fire in my chest, like literally dying inside and like raging.
Really?
But I'm getting better at understanding that you need to hear feedback in order to like be
Improve.
the best. Yeah, be the best version of you, because at the end of the day, you obviously know what's best for you, but it's good to hear feedback, especially on things that like you're doing or whatever. Like, sometimes you get stuck in your own world, so it's good to listen to what other people think about
100%.
But yeah, it's tough.
I feel like, surprisingly, actually, I had a lot of like confidence, but I feel like over time I've kind of realized like, no, actually, I don't know best in every scenario.
Yeah.
So I think like feedback is humbling.
It's very
but
humbling.
it's good to help you learn.
It is. We did have
some questions.
Yeah, we've got questions for each other on kind of being in our 20s.
Yeah.
What it was like, I guess, the lessons we've learned and stuff like that. So let's do it.
Well, actually, that was my first question, is what's the biggest lesson that you've learned in your 20s? I didn't make it specific, but is there anything that springs to mind?
Oh, I feel like I've learned so many good ones, but I think the main one I've learned is learning to be comfortable, to be alone and independent, not depend on parents, a partner, friends. And that came from when I did 2 years of COVID alone. I think I spoke about this before in another episode, so go back and watch the full for the full story. But I think that really taught me, that was such a game-changing turning point moment for me, was kind of like when I learned to be so happy in my own company. Like, if I was going through a really bad day, to learn to deal with that myself, not to call someone and be like, I need help. And I'm not saying you shouldn't do that. I'm not putting that down at all. You always need a support system, but your biggest support system should be yourself. I think that, like, yeah, when I learned to just be able to go through a panic attack by myself, or like have a bad day and turn it around without outside influence, that was game changing, because it meant I didn't need my partner, I didn't need friends, I didn't need parents. I just learned to like sit with my emotions and overcome them, and know that it's not the end of the world, and that you can get yourself through it. If you can get yourself through a really bad time, I think you're like invincible.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Sorry, I was long-winded, but
learning to be on your own, and like especially in this day and age where you got phones, you know, if I'm feeling upset I can just go on my phone and I can scroll. But no matter what I do to avoid that emotion, it's going to come up at some point. And I've even had situations before where like you might be going through a breakup or going through something, and you like, I literally said to myself once, I'm not dealing with this. I'm too good to deal with this right now. Like, someone's really upset me, so I'm not dealing with it. So I'm going to go straight into being happy, and I'm going to carry on my life, and that's it. But it will creep up on you.
Yeah, that's avoiding.
Yeah. But that's after a lot of times of like, let me deal with it. I'm going to deal with it by myself, and da-da-da. And I was like, finally, I was like, no, I don't want to be upset, so I'm not going to allow myself to be upset. But then it crept up on me, and then it came back and like smashes you in the face.
Yeah, it does. It's 10 times worse.
Yeah.
So I guess that as well, that's a good lesson. Like,
good lesson.
You cannot avoid your emotions. It will eventually come back to you tenfold, and just avoid the volcano. Avoid the volcano.
Yeah.
Deal with the small lava.
Yeah. That's a good way of putting it.
Yeah. Deal with it before it blows to the top, you know? Yeah. I've got a question for you.
Oh God, I'm scared.
What was your biggest stress when you were in your early 20s? Has it changed, and how?
Early 20s, so that was like
21, 20.
Biggest stress. Okay, I would say back then, I think I was like in a relationship. So when I think back to that time, I was like finishing university, didn't really care about that. Yeah. But it was all very relationship heavy, and I think I went through a breakup from like 21 to 22, something like that. So that was like a big stress for me. Very emotional time. Yeah. I was also stressed about like my career, getting a job, fresh out of university, but that came a bit later. So I would say, yeah, relationship wise, that was my biggest stress, whereas now that is not really a stress of mine currently.
What was the breakup about? What was the most stressful part of it?
They broke up with me, but it was like my first proper relationship. Yeah. And I had experienced heartbreak before, but this, I really thought I just found my person. Yeah. And now looking back, it's so funny because like absolutely not. But
you just didn't anticipate.
They were lovely, but like, yeah, it was never gonna work, you know. Yeah. Whereas now looking back at that, it's just so ridiculous that but I also think, give yourself grace. Like, I know better. Yeah. I didn't know I would go on and love again and all of this, and you know, so much has happened since that. But right now, my biggest stress is making like my business and like my projects work long term, so that I don't have to go back to where I wasn't very happy. And I just really, I mean, the thing is that I keep telling myself is like, it is working. Do you know what I mean? Like, I am making a living from like my social media business, but I want it to be better, and it's just super stressful. Like, there's so much that I didn't really anticipate having to deal with, and like I'm learning so much about myself, and it's more so like an internal thing where like I'm getting frustrated with myself, I'm feeling anxious, or like I feel like I'm not good enough, and like imposter syndrome, just all of this. It's really stressful when it's like I want to change so that I can like the business can do well, but I'm struggling with that myself. So that's my biggest stress right now. But it's not like horrendous, because like, I keep telling myself, look how far I've come since like 6 months ago when like I quit my job. I'm now doing what I wanted to do. I do think I need to learn how to like be less stressed about that.
Well, I think like the key things I'm taking from that is that when you were 21, it was focused around someone else, right? It was like a boyfriend. It's all emotional, like the breakup, that was your biggest stress. And I think that like it's interesting now that you're in a place where your biggest stress is building your business, and it's all very internal, which I actually think is good, because you're really like working on yourself rather than like your emotions aren't dependent on someone else, if that makes sense, which I think is good.
Yeah, I want to keep improving my own self. And you know what I keep thinking about is like, one day I'll have children, and like I want to do this not just for like myself, but also to show them this journey, you know?
Yeah.
And yeah, but I honestly, like, I don't really have like regrets. This actually is going into your question, your next question.
Okay.
Actually, that's a lie. I do have a few very tiny regrets, but do you have any regrets? Or maybe not regrets, that's quite a big word, but like, is there anything that you maybe would have done differently from like early 20s to mid 20s?
I think there's so many different parts to it, because I when I think about that, I think about the career path I took, the boyfriends I had. I think one regret I have, and it's obviously something that with the last question you asked me, I think I worked through it, but the one regret I had was I spent a lot from teenage years all the way through probably till I was about 24, till I had that time by myself. I spent a lot of my time and energy on boys that treated me so badly. Like, they were focusing on themselves and building their careers, as men do, and I was focusing on them.
So
right?
True.
And I think that is the worst thing you can do as a female in your early 20s. You need to prioritize yourself. You get so caught up because you're so emotional. I'm not saying everyone's like this. I'm not saying women are emotional. I'm saying that when you're in your early 20s, I think it's really easy to like fall in love and feel it very intensely. And if you're someone like me that does that, like, I would put their needs above mine any day, every day. And I regret doing that. I think I put myself 20 steps back compared to like them or even some of my friends. And I've put all that energy into the wrong people, right? And I should have been putting it into myself. So I think that's my regret. Those boys probably know who they are. And if you see this, fuck you.
Yeah.
But like,
I think that's such a relatable point though.
yeah, I think a lot of girls do it. I know so many girls that have done it. And I think I get very, now with my friends, when they date losers or assholes, I literally like want to shake them and be like, stop, like literally like just focus on yourself, like focus on what you can give yourself, because I made that mistake and I just think it set me back. Like, I just didn't really like figure out who it gave me more issues than anything else, like gave me more trauma to work through. So if you're in a shitty relationship and you're like 20 years old, please just leave. I promise you.
Yeah.
You'll find your person. It will get better. Like, if you're sitting there having doubts about, is this person right for me? Or like, if you have to think about if they're treating you well, they're not treating you well.
Yeah.
Basically. Like, that is bottom line point. If you're sitting there being like, I don't know if this is what I deserve, then you don't deserve it.
And also, I always say to people, like, let's say you're in like a toxic relationship or whatever, people don't learn until you break up what they need to change.
Yeah.
So you can always break up, and maybe if the stars align, you improve, then you get back together. But you're not going to improve staying in the same situation.
No. Also,
because
they'll just keep taking advantage, right?
And you'll know if you break up and then let's say you get back together and nothing's changed.
Yeah.
Like, we've all been there.
Oh, yeah.
You just got to go through the motions. And but I think that's so relatable. Like, I think a lot of people, you get so caught up in it. And I think back to relationships that I've been in, and I would have dropped everything for them.
Everything.
And in the back of my mind, I knew they're not the right person for me. But I would still try and try and try.
Yeah.
And completely lose myself.
You want to make it work so badly.
Yeah, because you're so scared of being by yourself.
Yeah, and this is my point, is that you need to learn to be by yourself. If you can learn to be by yourself, you will never ever get put in situations where you're accepting things you actually don't deserve. You're accepting behavior you don't deserve. Accepting, I mean, that's the biggest one, I think.
Jobs, for example.
Jobs, even. Yeah. Like, it's encompassing in your whole life. It's like relationships, jobs, the way your friends might treat you. Like, it's really learning self-care, boundaries, and self-respect, actually.
Yeah.
That's the biggest one. It's knowing you deserve better because you're amazing. That's mine. I think that's a really good lesson. I think everyone should learn that lesson.
Yeah.
Whether you're 20, 40 or 80. Just learn it. Okay. I'm going to list a few things here. So money, career, love, and friendship. Can you list those in order from highest to lowest in priority?
Right now?
Yeah.
What was that?
Money, career, love, and friends. So let's go with, what do you think is most important? Let's go actually least important.
Well, least important, obviously, money.
Okay.
I do not never been a massive priority for me. Obviously, it is something that I now am thinking, well, money gives me access to other things.
Yeah.
It will always be love and friendships at the top. Like,
yeah.
Always. Like, I am huge on my friendships, and my friendships have, like, the biggest blessing in my life. The same as love. Like, I'm big on love. I'm not in love right now, but massive on that. I say, like earlier I was saying, my career is my massive priority right now, but it will never come before my friendships, if you know what I mean. Like, if I got a massive opportunity but something happened to, like, my family or friends, I'd never.
Yeah. And that will always take priority.
Yeah. And I think it's just dependent on the way you were raised, you know, all of these things. But I don't think it's right to ever put a career above like genuine connection. I really don't believe in that at all.
I'm with you there.
Yeah. I feel like it's
100%.
just will always be. And then money, I honestly I know that I could, like, live a happy life if I had a career that I enjoyed but maybe didn't bring me in loads of money, because I can have fun, you know. I can have fun doing whatever. But obviously money, like we talked about in our last episode, it's really helpful.
I mean, money is not the be all end all, but you need it. You need it to live. You need money to live, to experience things. It's just the way of the world. It sucks. But I think that, like, I agree with you. I think friendships and love are the most important. And that's why I've always said I think boundaries are really big when it comes to work. I think you should, I always tell my friends that I don't think it's right to be working till like 9-10 p.m. If you're putting off, like, friend time because you're working, I just disagree. Yeah. I just think you need to find your job.
Yeah, I completely agree.
And I tell my friends that all the time. So it's kind of like, but I also get it. It's, again, that place of feeling like you've got the guilt. It's like you've got to do it to work your way up or, you know, be successful. But I just think I just can't. It literally violates my code. Like, I cannot work till 10 p.m. And some nights you will have that, but not every night. Yeah. Not when you're putting off your partner or your friends or your family or even just yourself. Yeah. Like, yourself to just have time. Yeah. To decompress from work. You need a breather.
I know.
Like,
I struggle with that, but yeah, it's I do think that, like, regardless of, you know, I've had, like, a real turning point recently where I'm like, I'm super ambitious and I feel it and I, like, really just want to run with it, have so much energy, but also it will never take away from, like, my true core values. Yeah. And, like, putting connection above everything, because I couldn't go about my day without, like, I mean, we speak every day. I couldn't not speak to my sister. Do you know what I mean? Like, I could never live life like that. No. But also, just one last point I wanted to talk about your 20s, because I think this is, like, a really big thing when you get to your, like, late 20s. Yeah. Is obviously it then hits you that you're getting to the point where people start getting married and having kids, and like, I feel like it's not really something in your early 20s, it's more like the comparison with your friends that are getting jobs and stuff like that, and it just continues.
It just changes.
But as you get older, as you get into your late 20s, you kind of realise that friend might have had a relationship at 22, but then they're single and, like, divorced at 26
32
or 30. Yeah. So, like, it changes. And, like, I've even recently had people, like, take the piss out of me for being single. They're like, oh, imagine being single at your age. And I think, just wait 5 years, mate. You might be divorced.
Literally.
So
me and Tim say that all the time, that, like, there are friends that have been married of ours, right? They've been married for, let's say, 5 years. They could be divorced in 5 years.
Exactly.
We don't know.
So you never know what's going to happen, and you shouldn't compare. I know it's so cliche, like don't compare your journey to other people's, but it's so easy to get caught up in it. And like, if you are someone who is ambitious,
yeah.
and you have these things that you want to achieve in the next few years, and you're more on that kind of vibe, then go and find people that are more like that. So you feel seen.
I truly believe men are like that.
Maybe I need to make some more male friends.
I truly believe men are like that. I think that like that's what they do. When they're not ready to settle down, they date a 20-year-old, right? Like when they're... I just believe men do that. We're running out of time. But I think instead of love and loathe this week, we should do...
see if there's any more points. Okay. But go on,
We should do... if you could tell a 21-year-old girl now, or maybe your 21-year-old self something now, what would you tell her?
Oh my God, can you go first? I don't know.
Yeah, okay, I'll go first. I would tell her, find a really good therapist, and take the time to work on yourself, and don't worry about friendships, boyfriends, partners, family. Just work on yourself. Be very firm in your boundaries, and everything will fall into place.
Okay, yeah, I would tell myself, don't lose yourself and what makes you happy, your creativity, fitness, things that spark that joy inside of you. Don't let anyone take enough time away from you to be able to continue to do those things. Stay with your YouTube or your creativity, keep doing that, and just don't lose that, because I had to spend a lot of time trying to find that later on in my 20s. And yeah, when I look back at that time when I wasn't doing like creative things or putting my joy first, well, it wasn't like my joy, but I wasn't putting myself and my ambition and like creativity first or as a priority, it just looks a bit
hazy,
dull, you know. And it was good for other things, but I could have had both, you know, at the same time. I could have been experiencing new things with new people, but also sticking with my fashion and creativity and dyeing my hair. You know, I didn't have to change or dull myself down. I didn't have to dull myself down.
I also think you'll find your people. Like, just because you're in a place now, you may still be really good friends with your school friends, or you may be kind of like maybe coming out with like uni friends, and they might not all be like you, but I think eventually you find your people, and just hold on to those people.
I think also give yourself and give other people grace. So like, don't just like, if a friend is going off in a different direction and you don't understand it, or they've got a new boyfriend and they're, you know, it's their first boyfriend and they're really engulfed in that, give them grace. Give them, I always say to people, it could be a phase. So give them like 6 months, give yourself a year, however long you need. Don't just like remove people and like assume that they mean the worst. All of my friends and people have gone off in different directions, but I always think that's okay if they're over there for a bit, you know? Just let them do their thing. Or if I go off on a tangent and I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to like move to Australia or whatever. Hayley's getting really worried about that. I'm not going to do that, don't worry.
Oh my God.
Then like, give yourself grace to do that, and don't like cut off ties unless it's like super toxic. But I think
everyone needs to learn their own lessons. And you can just wait for them to learn it.
And then you might find your way back to each other. But if you like cause mayhem with people don't forget that, you know. So
true that. Well, I think we got to end it there.
Honestly, we've spoke some wisdom today.
Wisdom. I'm feeling calm.
Same. That was a really good. I really enjoyed that.
Same. Again, I therapy. Podcast is therapy.
It is. It's great.
But yeah.
Thanks for watching, everyone.
Thanks for watching, everyone.
Go follow us.
Follow
on Instagram,
us.
TikTok.
We have just reached 100 followers, by the way, on almost every every platform.
We're so happy. Actually, it's really good, isn't it?
Yeah, it's really good, considering this is the 6th one. Hopefully we've gained more since. But yeah, go follow us. Go watch all the other episodes.